Hello everyone, I'm Dante from Low Mana and welcome to another This Week in Anthem. Here I run through all the news, updates, interviews and community spotlights you should be checking out each week. So it's been a few weeks due to an extended quiet period and myself being out of town for a while, but I'm back and Gamescom has been and gone. We didn't get the info dump everyone was waiting for, but we did get another round of AMA questions and answers. That, as is tradition at this point, extended in the weeks after. Most of these we've heard before, but there are a few interesting details that are starting to flesh out certain features. First of all, we have a very short update related to gear levels. The maximum quality of items is Masterwork, which is a bit like Ancients from Diablo or the equivalent in Destiny. We had confirmation that these will also be relevant for abilities, not just other weapons. So we can expect some unique effects on our mortar strikes at least. Not massive news, but always good to get confirmation. On the other side, we actually got a fair few answers when it comes to cosmetics. First of all, how customizable will they be? Are we able to actually paint armor and emblems? No, not directly, but there are a lot of options you will have. Each section can be recolored apart from each other, along with the ability to choose different materials. So if you have a dream of a chrome javelin, it just might come true. On top of this, we learned that these colors are not consumables, so we'll be seeing no shader controversies, which frankly is one of the dumbest mechanics put into any game where looking good is a key part of that game. But anyway, before I go off on a Destiny rant, along these lines there has been a little bit of clarification in terms of unlocking colours and textures. Some will be basic and available from the start, whereas some colours, wraps and materials will be unlocked through play, whether that be completing missions, finding unique locations, completing in-game content, or just random drops. This is how you do unlockable colours. Not disposable shaders that take up inventory space for no reason, while also having to grind them so you can make one set. Sorry, back to the ranting. In a nutshell, the cosmetic side of the game is looking really good and a worthwhile currency sink, with the possibility to show off your accomplishments through just your cosmetics without interrupting how you want to play. Fashion Anthem could still be the true endgame, away from cosmetics and onto the role-playing side of the game. If you weren't aware, the story elements and the group play are split entirely. The solo section being in first person for the immersion and the combat gameplay in third person. I personally really like this idea and I can't wait to see how it turns out. Although some people are a little worried about what this means for choices. BioWare games are famous for their dialogue wheels, deep conversations and decisions to make that directly affect the world around the player. Anthem does have choices, but we've now had it confirmed that it's a binary choice. You are given two choices, and that fork is the road your story takes. That doesn't mean you won't be interacting with NPCs, it just means it's streamlined, leaving every option you are presented to have the most impact. Each and every time you are given a choice, you know it's meaningful. This could decide long-term changes that make your home within Fort Tarsis different to another person. Maybe you're picking an NPC's idea over another, making you closer to them, opening up more story specifics to them, but missing the story for the other. Maybe you decide the controlling factions, the resources, perhaps who ultimately lives or dies, giving you a reason to replay the game as a new freelancer, outside of the loot grind. Something as a lore nerd I'll certainly be doing. This is a rather unique system though. Are you excited for it, or do you think it's going to fall flat? I'd love to hear what you think. One of the major points of confusion surrounding Anthem at this time is related to pre-orders, demos, and the early access options available to us all. Even though BioWare are deliberately keeping the base game options simple, avoiding lots of versions that require Excel spreadsheets to explain what version you should be buying, which honestly is a troubling trend in gaming that I hope we move away from sooner rather than later. However, they have an added layer of Origin or EA access, combined with the console wars that also break up the player base. John and Mark have attempted to clear this up, so I'm going to carry on the message so you know exactly what version you should be buying to meet your budget and to get the access you value the most. So first of all, the basics. Anthem, regardless of the version you're going to buy or the time zone you're in, will release on February 22nd, 2019. There are 3 ways you can buy the game: a Standard Edition, a Legion of Dawn Edition, or gain access by being an Origin member or EA Plus member. These are available only on PC and Xbox respectively. PlayStation does not have access to this third option. And what do you get from each of these versions? And when do you get to play the game with each? The Standard Edition gets you access to the full game on the release date, as well as access to any open betas or demos they will run, but will not give you access to the early release version of the game. The same goes for the Legion of Dawn edition, except you get some additional cosmetics. So how do you get to play the full game early? Well, PC and Xbox have access to Origin and EA passes. The basic versions of each will give you 10 hours of early access play from February 15th, 1 week before the official release, just to clarify. After 10 hours of play, you then have to wait until the final release day. The only one exception to this on the PC is you can purchase Origin Premium access. This gives you unlimited access from the 15th, so you get to play the game unlimited for an entire week before general release. This is in addition to any of the demos or open betas previously mentioned. So to recap, if you just want to play the game on release day, get the standard version. If you want some nice cosmetics on top, get the Legion of Dawn version. If you want early access outside of the demos, you'll need to be on PC or Xbox and have a pass. And if you really want it before everyone else, you'll need a premium pass and to be on the PC. With all of that said, I will still encourage all of you to not pre-order any game. Wait until you can try it for yourself through the open betas, if they even happen. Or wait for a reviewer or content creator you trust, or just share the same enjoyment of games with, and let them try it first. Especially on YouTube, people will get to try this game early and be able to give you their impressions before you spend your money. However, if you do want to try the game on the cheap, the Origin Pass isn't actually a bad idea. It is significantly cheaper than buying the game, at least in the short term, and gives you access to pretty much all EA games. So if you want to try out Battlefield, Titanfall, Mass Effects and don't own them, you also get access to them thrown in at the same time. This might even be a better way of buying their games in the long run, as long as the benefits stay good. I'll link to all the information and prices to all of these options in the link below, so you can see for yourself which is the best option for you in the end. So away from the financial side of things and actual mechanics of the game, we've all seen the elements effect in action, from freezing enemies solid to setting giant spiders on fire. Someone on Twitter asked if there will be some form of flinch mechanics in place, which, if you're unfamiliar with, is where you deal a large burst of damage or hit a weak point at the right time that you essentially soft stun or even fully stun lesser enemies. Anthem will have these mechanics, but it is tied to the element system. Essentially all creatures in Anthem will have a certain threshold until they become affected by a status effect. Once this amount is reached, they will take the effect for its duration, and the threshold resets once it's passed. This will be especially important for bosses, as once you know how much and how long you need to expose a boss to an element, you and your team will effectively create a damage boost window. This could be by purely doing more damage, making the target easier to hit, or preventing a mechanic for a short period of time. Eventually you'll be able to time or force these effects to get the most value, exactly how players have been doing for over a decade in MMOs like World of Warcraft. I think that about covers it in terms of Twitter, but there are a few other important details around the game that have been confirmed. One of my personal favourites is that the theme song Valor has finally been released. I've linked to it below so you can have a listen. And if my experience is anything to go by, it won't be long until we have tons of fan covers. I really enjoy the music of Anthem so far and the tone it's trying to set. This is all thanks to Sarah Shatner, who has finally been revealed as the conductor creating the score for Anthem. I love what I've seen so far, so give her a follow on Twitter and give her amazing work a listen. Just as a side note, I know PAX is this weekend, but I'm still catching up, so I'll be doing a full breakdown of both the panel and the new trailer that dropped this Saturday. My initial thoughts are to first let you know that the demo will be coming February 1st, so if you have any of the previously mentioned additions, you will have access to that. From what I can tell so far, this will not be super in-depth, but a more traditional demo, something like all the way back in the Diablo 3 beta, that showed a small slice of the game you played through solo. And yes, I'm aware I use Diablo 3 as a reference for everything at this point. The next takeaway is that I really like the thought process behind what they're planning. They clearly have a vision that they've all bought into, and that's what they want to deliver. And that this has built-in flexibility, or as they put it, they are giving themselves the tools to make changes or add onto the existing body. This includes being able to add on additional stories in a segmented way, that flows from the decisions you make and enables the cross-pollination of characters and events they've already made. This then extends into gameplay, the missions you play, the interactions you'll have, and the rewards you'll receive. As always, all the links used today will be below. If there's any news that I've missed, or if you have an opinion about what I covered today, be sure to let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this episode, then please leave a like, or a dislike if you prefer. You can subscribe to support the channel and hit the little bell for notifications. But until next time, I've been Dante, thanks for watching.